execute through this agenda. Some housekeeping things. Just remind your departments to get to the doors as quickly as possible when the bell sounds. We had a situation where last night, two young ladies had the fight out here.
Last night?
I mean, the tribunal was last night of the two young ladies that had the fight out here, and when y'all get into tribunals, nobody's guilty, and it's always the other one's fault, and the godfather tried to pull the no teacher on duty card. We had the video, we showed the video, and what it was, I had to politely explain to him that we were in transition, that it happened right after the bell. But there's always a learning piece from that. I think what happens is a lot of times the bell rings, we're kind of getting the kids out of the room and kind of coming up, bringing up the rear, and that's what happened in this situation. So and all this was just an observation when I was looking at it and talked to the teacher whose room the students came out of. That's exactly what she was doing. She was bringing up the rear, and so was the teacher in the room next to her. They were bringing up the rear, pushing the kids out. Well, they were like one of the first two out, and then they turned, one turned, and then here we go. So what we can do is with our organization, and like I said, when I looked at it, talked to the teacher, I said, okay, it's just something we need to adjust. Nobody's doing anything wrong or wasn't doing what they were supposed to, but that was just something that maybe makes us look at how we're doing it. So when the bell rings, students are sitting down according to our organizational or operational framework, then let's just move to the door. Just go ahead and move to the door. We're half in and half out, and then just pull them out that way. That way we're in both locations in case something occurs in the room or if something occurs, because the way it was set up, I mean, as soon as they walk out the door, but as soon as they kind of walked out the door right behind one another, and then as soon as they walked out the door, the one turned. And they kind of had words, and then a push, and then here we go. Okay? So if we'll just, come on in, ladies. So if we'll just, immediately come to the door. Now I'm here. Now I can see this happening, and I can see this happening. And then just let them step back. Okay? So just a small adjustment on that. Of course, y'all know whenever it's a tribunal and everybody's looking for fault, you can find fault. It went all the way from somebody before the thing was all said and done, somebody threw a Gatorade bottle at the other one, but they had a week to think about it. So when they have a week to think about it, it could be they'll add some of everything. And that's why we immediately get the statements. After a conflict and we check if there's any medical attention needed, we do statements right away. Because by the time a tribunal comes and they've had a week to think about it, they make up all kind of stuff. And thank God for those cameras. But nevertheless, you got it on video, but when people trying to get their children out of something, they want to point the blame all over the place. So if we can just make that adjustment, I think we'll be fine. Tell you people, I know that some of us have new department chairs in our departments, and it's hard for if we get used to a person after a while, it's easy to kind of call that person, and so just tell them, make sure if they have issues to use the right department chair. We want to use the department chairs that's in place, not one that used to be or whatever. POC reading strategies. Is that me or you, Ms. Ingram?
That was y'all this morning about people being in it. You were just talking about people being in to be there for the reading strategy PLCs.
Oh, yeah. The PLC reading strategies, you know, that's pretty much what we're, you know, that's our initiative, the literacy initiative. That's what we've got these thousands of dollars for on the Striving Readers Grant. And I need, please tell your departments, and there's reasons sometimes why we'll be late to a PLC. So if I ask them, we'll go to the next one, it's not a punishment for being late to the PLC, because, you know, there's different things that sometimes will cause you to be late to the PLC, but we have to understand the strategy. And so I just want them to, if they miss the training, it's about receiving the full training. It has nothing to do with a consequence or anything like that. It's about receiving the full training, because remember, it is a school-wide initiative, and we need everybody to be consistent in their instruction. So if they are late to a PLC, we're going to ask them to go to another, so we can make sure that they get the full training and the same level of training like everyone else. We had a little conflict with, I know with the 504, so what we need to do is just pay a little better attention. We don't schedule them, you know, at the same time if possible.
Yes, that and Spanish.
So we'll do our part and try not to schedule things to cause a conflict.
Okay, President, so that means after school is with you as of now? No?
I'll tell you about it in just a minute. Yeah, it's going to be math, and we're changing this week just a little bit. I'm going to have math and after school groups tomorrow.
Okay.
This is just for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what we did, we made this is what was happening. When we started our IFs, what was supposed to happen is you had an IF for English and Social Studies, and we had an IF for Science and Math, okay? And what was happening is when we're doing PLCs, trying to keep that together, I had two groups being taught one week when that one IF was here, and I had another two groups being taught the next week when that other IF was here. Well, needless to say, that don't really make sense. So, because one group is always a week behind, and then we're 2 weeks trying to get full implementation about whatever it is that we're trying to teach. So what I've decided to do is give one IF, one part section to instruct everybody, and then the other IF, another part sections of things to do to instruct everybody, instead of splitting PLCs over a 2-week period. So Ms. Ingram will be doing the reading and the literacy, and then Ms. Watts has another set of things that she'll be covering in PLCs. So that was just an adjustment I made, because to me, it was delaying everything. Instead of me training all of the reading strategies in 1 week and getting everybody to implement, half was getting it 1 week, the other half was getting it the next week, and that really doesn't, for what we're trying to do, it really doesn't fit for what we're trying to do. So I just adjusted that a little bit and asked to talk to Audra, well, email Audra, and asked to talk to Ms. Watts, and gave them different things to present in PLC. So that's why that kind of switched like that.
But you're going to go back to having it every week now.
Right.
That's what's going to happen.
Because that was a concern. Ms. Williams wanted to know, because she had meeting schedules. She told me that she had some meetings for Blissey's schedule like on a Thursday. So she wanted to know the exact date so she could set her calendar.
And that's what was happening. It caused a little bit of confusion. You know, we're going to have it this week. Well, no, ours will be next week. So we started plugging things into that slot, naturally so.
Okay.
But we're going to get back to the way we're used to doing it. And in that way, it's not.
Because what was happening is the week that I was here with English and Social Studies, I had so much to do with them based on reading and housekeeping things, you know, teaks, everything else, that what was going to end up happening is, since I was only going to be here 2 weeks, we were going to end up meeting 2 days that week, because it was going to take
Right.
2 full hours to do everything.
Right.
So instead of, you know, me having English and Social Studies to say, all right, guys, we got to meet on Tuesday and Wednesday and collaboratively plan on Thursday. That's 3 days a week you're going to get used up, when it's easier to just go back to just doing it every Tuesday instead of cramming and you guys losing over half your week in 1 week. Because what was going to happen is on those weeks, y'all were going to be crashing. And it was just too much for us and too much for y'all at one time.
And then
also.
the next week, the other IFs, we're gonna do the same thing
Yes.
for 3
And
days
then-
the
yeah.
next week.
And then when they're walking through, like they've got us walking through just to kind of look at the boards and reading strategies being used. But then if Dr. Gray goes into Miss Williger and he just left English, okay, now he's looking for reciprocal teaching or PALS, and he goes into Williger's room, she hasn't been taught yet. So it's just kind of chaotic.
So we just adjusted and put it back to the way that we used to doing things. Community projects, Dr. Hinton, and it only applies to, well, what we had to do, we had to adopt the hospital, which the high school has a month to do things with the hospital, things like sending goodwill cards, you know, kind of art things, maybe maybe we can get some of the ROTC cadets to go out and visit, more of our chorus band, you know, do some things. And then we've adopted, we also have we'll have once a month at the hospital. We have the Heritage House, which will do something for them once a month. Maybe send the chorus over there. Or if you have a group that would like to do something, you know, for them, we'll try to set up a calendar so we can stay consistent. And then we also have 10 businesses that we're going to maybe like on Secretary Day or do something for these businesses, and then we'll rotate the businesses amongst the 3 or 4 schools that we have in the county. So that's kind of some stuff that we're going to do. We're probably going to lean maybe on art, ROTC, band, chorus, you know, kind of, yeah, clubs, different clubs, yeah, the different clubs. If you can, and I'll come up with some more specifics, or if you see something that you would like to do with one of those businesses or the Heritage House or the hospital, then we can do it. Now we have a month, but there's nothing to say that we can't do more. We just have to at least do it the month that we have assigned to us.
Do we know what that month is?
Yeah, I do. I'll run and get it as soon as Ms. Ingram starts talking. I'll run and get it.
I can agree with that. I have a lot of things we used to do. Why club, we had monthly thing that was lined out.
That's right. Okay. And that's kind of we need, so we can plan ahead and go ahead and get that stuff done. We're doing that with the frameworks. Just remind them to have the framework up. I know my IFs have been going around kind of just helping those that need help with the framework. I think for the most part, everything is going well. It's nothing new for us. It's something we've been doing for years. Morning duty paperwork. I'm not sure.
Ms. Hardman stressed it out. She said people not doing things while they were on duty.
Oh. Morning duty. What she's saying is what we're seeing more and more now is people not really looking out. They're grading papers and kind of sitting down and doing things. Well, if something happens and I'm on duty and something happens, then I don't see it before it happens because I'm grading papers or reading my book or whatever. And then we get into a situation, say, well, what was the teacher doing? Just like yesterday. Well, what was the person on duty doing? Well, I was grading papers, and we sunk. Okay, so we have to be supervising, eyes open, you know, head on a swivel, just on duty in case we see something, we can get to it before it escalates. But if our attention is down, kind of doing paperwork, then we're reactive as opposed to being proactive. And that's the reason we're on duty, so we can be proactive to things. So let's just stay alert on our duty stations You know, ask your departments, you know, please don't grade papers and do paperwork. We need to be focused on so we can be proactive instead of reactive. And I'm you know, and I keep saying this, and I keep because I know a lot of times when we say things like that, people don't really understand the reason behind it, and I don't know why we can't do paperwork. I don't know why we can't do that. But the last thing you want to be is in a tribunal like we were last night, and they trying to lay blame. And when they're trying to lay blame and they're trying to get out of something, they find every loophole that there is. And you don't want to be some jump off in the cafeteria on the bus ramp or somewhere, and you have to go before the tribunal and witness. And when they ask you, and what you have to understand in the tribunal is when you go up to testify, the person that's there as the defendant can ask you questions, and so can their parents, so can the student, so can and so I don't know if y'all have ever been to a tribunal, but they will, and the students will ask you questions, and they'll look at you and they'll tell their mama, Mr. Martin wasn't even paying attention. He's over there grading papers. Just use you as an example. And then you get to the tribunal, and that student to sit there and say, Mr. Martin, were you grading papers when you was on duty? The student asks you that. And you look at them and say, yes, I was. Then we're done. So that's why, and I always use Ms. Jackson as an example because she's been through that kind of thing. And yesterday, and I always say that stuff, but yesterday the guy was trying to use the fact that where was the, you know, and it's on video. Well, wait, I see students breaking that thing up. Where were the teachers? I said, sir, we had to transition. You know, and that saved us because we were transitioning. It wasn't like we were just chilling. And I looked, and I even had to show the timer to show this is how many seconds, when they came out of the class, how many seconds this thing happened. Now, if it had gone into like 30 seconds, then that whole thing would have been blamed on us. And that's the input. That's why I always keep, I know it sounds like I'm being repetitive, but that's why I always keep that in front of you, because supervision, y'all, is more important than the milestone, to be honest with you. You know, the milestone and educating these kids and stuff like that is secondary. Because if they don't do well on the milestone, you know, we got to adjust, we need to do some more interventions and stuff like that. But if something happens because of a lack of supervision, now you're talking about PSC, certificates, all other stuff, then headaches that we don't need. News, you know, all other stuff. And if you heard the news, stuff happens at Jones County, had a big brawl, and it's all in the news. Y'all don't want to be in the news. And neither do, I know y'all don't either. On the SLOs, just tell the teachers to make sure when they finish, they hit the exit button, Coach.
Yeah, they hit the finish button and it exits out. Don't let them just X out of it. It should be like a, you know, some of y'all have given it, y'all see that it's a button they click on to like finish, and then it closes everything out instead of just hitting X before you hit the finish button.
Okay, just remind your teachers about that, because we hot and heavy in SLOs right now. And so we're doing the pre-test. The post-test will be after spring break. You get heads up. Post-test will be after spring break. You have about 3 days to do a review, and within that 2-week window. ZAP, zeros are permitted, is still in effect. Just make sure that you read the ZAP and follow it. It requires some things that teachers need to do before submitting a ZAP form. And again, don't wait and pile them all up at the end of the 9 weeks. Let's just do them as we go.
I think parent contact is one of those two.
Yeah, contact the parent. You know, we all know that's critical. Parental contact. All right. You want to, go ahead, Ms. Amy?
I just was going to announce to everybody everybody that some teachers had come to me and asked me about Lakeside scores when they were doing PAL last year. All of the English teachers at the middle school had to input the scores. And so if you're using the Lakeside scores that are in there right now, they are the very end of the 49 weeks scores, okay? They're giving them the SRI test that is going to be next week when you guys start giving it. And so as soon as the English teachers give it, because they teach all the students, they're going to give the test, and then they're going to get a report of all the students' scores, but then they're going to have to go in manually and enter everyone's Lakeside score in Infinite Campus. And so they're going to get it done. It takes a little while, okay, it's tedious, but they're going to get it done. And then Ms. Johnson is the department head, so as soon as she works with her department and finds out that everyone is done, she will shoot you guys an email. Because remember, if every child's not there when we test, then they still have to do makeup tests for those kids and everything. But they're working on it to get them tested and get it done. It's just taking a little longer because of SLOs and stuff this week. But they will, and Ms. Johnson will let you guys know when everybody's finished with that. And like I said, you'll be able to go into Infinite Campus. And once teachers go into Infinite Campus, then go in and they can go to their roster. And then when their roster appears on the left-hand side and they click on that first student, all of those tabs come up on the top. They click, there's a new tab that just says Lakeside. And when they click that tab, it'll have a student and their Lakeside. And then after you've done that the first time initially, you can just click on each individual student and that Lakeside screen stays up, okay? And they can print out their scores from there. But now it's going to be up to the teachers to put them in Excel and organize them from the top to bottom. The next thing that Dr. Graham wanted me to mention that when Ms. Watts and I were walking through is just make sure that they were Raton standards, nouns and verbs, using the language of the standard. And for example, with the Raton, also like if they put their standard on the board, one of the things we're having to look for is that the language of the standard is in every part. So for example, if you've got the language of the standard in the big idea and the essential question, and you were talking about, I don't know, Civil War, for example, you know, analyzing the conflicts that took place in the Civil War or whatever. When you do your opening, it doesn't need to just say, think and map Civil War. It needs to actually have, like, completing, think and map, analyzing conflicts of Civil War. And that's the kind of things that, I mean, we're looking for, and if we don't see it, we're helping teachers with it before the administrators start walking through. And that's one of the things that SACS is going to be looking for also. And then collaborative plan, like we said. I know some people had issues saying, well, when we meet on Thursday, you know, everyone's going to meet together. They're going to meet in one room. And the biggest thing is everybody teaching the same standards and everyone focusing on that big quadrant D lesson together. But everybody was saying it's going to be hard to do 2 weeks at one time. But now the way we've broken it up, and I guess, you know, if you can't get the 2 weeks done on that Thursday, then, you know, we can just do it every Thursday, whatever fits your needs. And then also SLDS, they just reminded us of this, but, you know, we have the clicks every month that we have to do. And the end of the month is when? Monday or Tuesday? Monday, payday Monday? Okay, yeah. But guys, we have to get 50 a month, so we need to get in and be clicking. Like click, click. 50 a month. By the end of the month, 50 clicks are due by the end of every month. And I know we have till Monday, but just get in there and click.
And that's nothing new. We did that all last year. Y'all know there's nothing different on the SLDS. And Raton standard, remember we were doing that. That's what's helping us with our vocabulary. And it's also helping students. It's also helping students understand what words mean, and it's, in my opinion, it's more effective than a word wall. Plus, it's time. It saves time instead of just putting words up, and then every time we got to take those words down. If we Raton and do the language of the standard, I think that's in my opinion, a more effective way to do vocabulary as well. The months for the hospital. Get well cards, whatever. The month for the hospital for the high school is December, April, and May. That's the months for the high school. The nursing home is once a month. And we have Heritage, it's the Heritage House, Heritage Inn. So starting in September, we need to have our plans together for what we're going to do at the Heritage Inn. I'll get with the supervisor, the person in charge, and kind of see like when they have the breaks or however, you know, what'll be the best time as far as their schedule to, for example, for the chorus to come in, or for the band to send a little group over there to play for the residents and things of that, or ROTC to interact and help them, or just visit. You know, sometimes you can just visit and go talk to them, and you know, anything we can do for you, you know, today, or you know, just help them. Sometimes just a visitor and someone to sit down and have a conversation with. And with that, you know, of course, before groupers go out there, we'll talk to the students about behavior and some of the things that you know, just dealing with the elderly, so it can be a good and respectful visit.
And I know Anchor Club has something planned for December, isn't it? You know what we talked about last week with Pilot, with the baby doll that we do with the Alzheimer's patients at the nursing home.
Okay. And that was something y'all were going to do for all three of them, or
We hadn't gotten that far, that detailed into
detailed.
it.
The Pilot Club does it all through, they take it up for all the nursing homes.
Okay.
And they bring in baby dolls, and they have specific things that they have to have, like they can't have hair, it has to be bald.
Yeah, like the eyes have to open and close, and
Okay, so y'all
But,
know a
yeah.
little bit about that kind of thing.
So that's something we could actually deliver,
so
instead
that's,
of giving them
yeah.
off, we could actually take them.
Right.
But you said we had you said the nursing home was every month?
Yeah, the nurse home was every month.
Okay, yeah.
So we could,
When you say hospital, is that part of ECF also, which is part of the hospital?
Now, what's ECF?
Extended care facility, which is
It's the
over to
nursing
the
home.
side.
it's the nursing home hospital.
Yes,
Okay, so it covers that as well?
yes, yeah, it covers that, because in Miss Phillips, she's the one who's gonna collect the cards, and she did mention ECF as well. Because I know we have Heritage, somebody has Tenno,
There's one in Oconee too.
somebody has Oconee, and then there's another one, Smith's or something like that. So there's four that's covered by the school system. And then we have the 10 businesses. I have to get the list of businesses. I got to get real clear on exactly what she wants